with the live example. Now, first and foremost, we need to understand what is the objective of learning. In this block, you will understand the basic objective like concept of organizational behavior. Here we understand how companies or industry apply organizational behavior, what is the benefit of the organizational behavior, and how we can change the results with the certain specific goals of having organizational behavior. Then after we understand challenges and opportunities of organizational behavior in Indian context. Here we understand what kind of challenges, whether it is individual or group behavior, comes in the industry, specifically in Indian context we understand this. And what are the opportunity of having good organizational behavior attitude of the top management and application to middle management and lower management, right? These are the things which we understand in this part. Last, critically examine and the importance of the organizational behavior. Why we need to have good organizational behavior, whether it is economical aspect or it is ecosystem, which drive to a successful business. Here we understand how your employee satisfied and that satisfaction lead to have successful career of employee as well as organization, right? So this is what objective of our today's lecture. Now, table of content, here we understand 3 units. In first unit, as I told you, we understand concept, definition, challenges and opportunities. Second unit, in which we are going to understand various models. What are the models and implementation of that models in live case study, right? Then after we understand nature of organizational behavior, means what kind of nature adopted by the various organization according to their demand. That means I would like to say that like IT sector, retail, FMCG, real estate, they all are different elements, different sectors, and their behavior is also different in terms of outcome based learning, right? Characteristic of organizational behavior, what kind of characteristic or how we will identify what structure is followed by the which company or which sector. We can understand imagination, implementation and hypothetically analyze the organizational behavior of any particular company. Then after, fundamental concept of organizational behavior, basic concept. Here we understand the leadership style, motivation, team dynamics, organizational culture and all. After that, importance, then organizational goal, how we will set and fix organizational goals with the keeping in the mind of model organization. In third unit, we try to understand impact of global and cultural factors in organizational behavior, right? Global prospect. Here we talk about global and cultural factors. After that, summary, keywords, self-assessment test, then further details. So this is what is table of content which we are going to study. Now move on to the first slide, that is introduction of organizational behavior. What is organizational behavior? The study of how individual, group and organization interact and influence one another. That means a person join in any organization having certain mindset or intellectual properties which might be collaborated or might not be collaborated with the organizational goal, or Before that, we can say that we need to adjust, coordinate, cooperate with the group to achieve certain specific defined goal. If we do that, then we are having good organizational behavior structure. Otherwise, we conceptualize that there are some lacuna or some correction is required in the organizational structure or its behavior, right? Though it is largely used within the field of business management as mean to understand and more effectively manage group of people. Fundamentally, organizational behavior work on the level where we understand the basic aspect, like what structure you adopt. Like take an example of Google. We start with the case study of Google. What they say, they have a structure, organizational structure. In California, Mountain Hill, what they say, whatever you do, there is no specific working hours. Whenever you want to come and work, you can do it. Whatever you want to do it for your entertainment, for your extracurricular, extra academical or extracurricular work, you can do it. Whether you want to do horse riding, swimming, any other game you want to play, do it. And whenever your mind is focused and you want to focus work with your with the objective of the organization, you can work. No specific time limit and all. So that is the organizational behavior where we understand mindset or intellectual aspect of the human being. When people innovative think, so that aspect is covered in this structure. So this is what more effective managers or management means. They understand what is the importance of innovation, how innovation comes. So they apply this thing, right? Move on to the further slide. The introduction, managing and defining the organizational meaning. Got it. So organizational behavior is a concern with the study of human behavior at work. What does it mean? Here I would like to tell you the case study of Mumbai Dabbawa. Mahaji Rao is a person who started that business. Initially, he worked as a peon or as a messenger or as a supplier of lunchbox to their owner. And later on, they decide to work in that field only. Although they are illiterate, now more than 5,000 people works together, coming from the rural background, and they design and develop a concept which is followed by the worldwide or global prospect, having Six Sigma policy, means errorless working. What they start coding with the color, sign, symbol, and they easily interpret a lunchbox from one point, origin point to end point, and end point to origin point. So that is what organizational structure on the basis of human behavior. This is what the structure based on the human behavior. There are several examples of this, right? Take an example of Domino's 30-minute pizza delivery. That structure or that design or that model is designed on the basis of human behavior. People are not ready to come to the counter and having a pizza. Then they started 30-minute pizza delivery to understand the human behavior within the organization or intra aspect or extra or external environment. They understand the both environment and coming in a profitable aspects. Another example, if you want to take it in this organizational behavior, McDonald's came in India with the Macalu Tikki world. Why? Because they understand the geographical aspect, fooding habits of external people, and according to that, they change their internal aspects also. Why? Because they understand the human behavior within the organization and outside the organization. So that is the importance of organizational behavior, right? It is a study of how people as individual and group behavior or act in an organization. Yes, organizational behavior is a study where you can understand individuals or as a group behavior, how they are behaving in a group. Some people are performing very well as an individual, but they are not able to perform in a group. Why? Because some psychological or intellectual aspect is not collaborated with the group of the objectives. In that, they are not able to perform. What is the consequences? The organizational goal will not be achieved properly. If it is vice versa, if individual goal is matched with the group behavior, and that lead to be a organizational goal, that organization will get the success. It depends on the organizational culture also, right? And it is also depend on the management of the organization. Why and how they lead this organizational model. Now, understand the definition given by the Stephen P. Robin. Organizational behavior is a systematic study of the action and attitude that people exhibit within the organization. Very true. Action and attitude are the two keywords by which we can understand individual and group behavior. Right? Job that how that will arise, that is come within few elements. Like first is job satisfaction, and that job satisfaction reflects working environment and work attitude. That attitude lead to be successful, right? And that is systematic form, right? That lead to be a good organizational behavior. So here we understand the definition given by the Stephen Robin. Now, element of the organization behavior. It is an investigative study of individual and group. What are the elements? There are several elements we study further. But here we understand the individual and group investigation means human behavior aspect, decision making powers, communication patterns, organizational structure, employee turnover, retention, power and policies, all these terms which we are going to understand as an individual or group behavior, right? This is the first element. Second element, impact of organizational structure on human behavior. Suppose if somebody having monopolistic environment in their organization, so we are focusing on the single direction of decision and objectives. That will lead to a different organizational behavior or different organizational goal. If we focus multiple like top management, middle management, lower management and hierarchical structure, it is automatically predefined objective of each one of level. So that structure will decide what kind of human behavior comes for a long-term perspective or organizational goal. Right? Another aspect, application of knowledge to achieve the organizational effectiveness. Individuals, each one of the employee is having importance of achieving the effectiveness or successfulness of the organization. Take an example of Microsoft. What they emphasize? The emphasis of the growth mindset means they apply, always try to motivate you as an employee, as an employer, to achieve certain milestones. That milestone give the benefit, whether it is monetary or non-monetary benefit, and that benefit leads to a effective organizational goal achievement. Right? So this is what example. Carry forward. Formal study of organizational behavior began in the 1890. That is the historical aspects of organizational behavior 1890, followed by the Industrial Revolution movement. In 1890s, F.W. Taylor identified the positive effect of precise instruction, goal setting, and reward or motivations. These are the terms which we are going to study further. Let me tell you brief introduction about the instruction means what? Ascending order or descending order. Like any product. Here we understand the supply chain management concept. Producer flow the some instruction to the wholesaler, wholesaler to distributor, distributor to retailer, retailer communicate to the customer. That is one instruction. Reverse, customer gives some feedback of about the product to the retailer, retailer to wholesaler, distributor, distributor to wholesaler, wholesaler to producer. So by doing this, we can say that the some organizational behavior of that structure may be 4 level, 3 level, 2 level, or 0 level. So that instruction comes according to that structure, right? Now, next point is goal setting. Organization to organization, it depends what kind of goal setting you have. What goals, what are the milestones you have decided to achieve one another, one after another. Okay. Then rewards or motivation. What kind of rewards or awards or motivation you are providing to your internal audience or internal employees, by which they can improve their effectiveness on working environment, right? So that is what reward and motivation. That is that to be a non-monetary or monetary. We can understand later on. These ideas become scientific management. Why scientific management? Because it is a systematic study, and scientific management means here we can understand rational aspect, logical aspect on certain background, or we can say that certain hypothesis be formulated and that hypothesis is proved earlier. So this is what scientific management. Considered as the beginning of the formal study of the organizational behavior. So this is what considered as a formal study. Means fundamental. What we understand? Instructions, goal settings, reward, award, or motivations which is given by the organization that lead by the scientific management. So that is the definition given by the F.W. Taylor, right? Moving ahead. Scientific management. What is the scientific management? According to the F.W. Taylor, who is known as father of scientific management, is based on the belief that productivity is maximized when organizations are rationalized with the precise set of instruction based on the time and motions. That means, scientific means what? Rationalize. As I told you earlier, logical, rationalize when we formulate hypothesis and prove that hypothesis is alternative or null hypothesis, selection and rejection of that hypothesis. That means it is proved, rationalized, right? And precise set of instructions On the basis of that research or that model or that structure, we formulate certain precise set of instruction for the employee according to the time and motions, right? So that is what role of structure of scientific management, right, which is given by the FW. Now, what are the four principles of scientific management? First, study task using time and motion study. Obviously, time and motion study means according to the demand, we need to understand scientific aspect. If you want now, if we talk about today's era, if you are not adopting modern technology in spite of traditional form, you became a Baidyanath. Baidyanath is an example of that form. Baba Ramdev bring traditional product into the modern format, right? So what they utilize? They utilize organizational structure on the basis of time, and that time is lead to be a successful. Now we can understand the role of Patanjali, how and what is the organizational model they adopted for the successful. That is the effect of time and motion, right? Scientifically select. Yes, it is rational, it is logically, it is hypothetically proved model which is adopted by the companies and train and develop the work. If now let's take an example of digital environment. Now 60%, more than 60% companies focus on digital media to promote their product. Why is it so? Because it is scientifically proved that less financial investment gives the most appropriate target audience to their productive customers, right? So people are focusing on that part, and various organizations adopting this model for scientific format, and they train their employee. That employee lead to be a work effectiveness, right? And that will give the for the employee, they will give the monetary and non-monetary benefits, right? Managers provide detailed instructions. As I told you, top level management, middle level management, and bottom level. So top level management provide clear instruction to the middle level, and middle level carry forward that instruction to a lower level. So that details or instruction clearly provided. That is why we need the scientific management system in our organization, right? Divide work between worker and manager. Identically distinguish to what role performed by the what employee. So that interpersonal relation will not be effective. So once you have done this, you will be identified as a interpersonal relation coordination, right? So this is what role of or four principle of scientific management. Now HR movement. What are HR movement in organizational behavior? So failure of scientific management gave birth to the HR movement. If scientific management is not getting successful, like taking example of last four options which we study task using time and motion. If you are not able to change according to the time, like as Baidyanath is not following that structure, so they are having only 500 crores company. So what is the loss? Monetary loss as well as employee dissatisfaction. For that, what they need to do, they need to focus on more employee satisfaction as well as adopting the modern technology, right? So these are the four scientifics. First, failure we understand. Now for carry forward by the second, characteristic by heavy emphasis on worker cooperation and moral. When scientific management does not followed by any organization, so heavy emphasis imply on lower level than middle level than top level management, and worker and co-worker cooperation or moral will decreased. Then we need a human resource management. People are treated as a human being and not machine, giving more importance to their need and problems. Now here we understand the concept of Maslow's theory, which is going to be understand later on in early, coming lectures. Now we understand the basic aspects. If we are not able to satisfy the basic need, physiological need of employee, internal employee, I am talking about internal employee, we are not able to fulfill the satisfaction level of organization or group behavior or organizational behavior, right? So here we end today's lecture. Now we will come in another session of organizational behavior. Thank you so much.